So good day, everyone. My name is Adishola Blessing, and I'm going to be your host for this exciting conversation today. On the call today, we're going to be diving into some topics about life, mindset shift, and personal evolution as a whole. Today on the call with me, I have a great speaker and a thought leader in his own right, in person of Mr. Olamilekan Adeyemi, popularly known as Davida. His knowledge and experiences are vast, and I'm sure he will push and inspire us all here today. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Olamilekan Adeyemi, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Fantastic. So, without wasting too much of our time, we'll be exploring the incredible power of our thoughts today and how our thoughts shape our lives. So, this has been an important topic so far, and I'm thrilled to have someone as insightful as you to unpack it with us, sir. So, we'd love to start with the basics, sir. So, Mr. Olamilekan, how do you think our thought process shapes who we are as a person?
Yeah, that's a great question, I must say. Because the truth also remains that you cannot be better than your thoughts. And everything you become, everything you do, always stems from your thoughts. And that's just the fact. And that goes on to say that if you see any man on the street, at your work, in your environment, what you are seeing is not just someone standing, you are seeing somebody whose outlook is as a result of his insight, of his thought, of his inner conversations. So the way it works is first we are made on the inside before we see anything outside. Our outside is always a reflection of what's on the inside. So your thoughts shapes our life, our outlook, our even our dressing, the way we talk, the things we do, the places we go. It's all a function and a result of our thought.
Thank you very much. You made mention about our thoughts shapes our life, and in if I'm going to interpret what you said in another meaning, it means our thinking determines everything about us.
Right.
Can you please break down for us, please? Like specifically, how does our mindset shifts influence the decisions we make, the actions we take, and let's say the outcome we experience?
You see, if you have seen some books, including the Bible, they tell you that uh, as a man thinks, so is the man. And that's to tell you that a man cannot be better than his thoughts. In any way, you can never be better than your thought. And the interesting part is if you are not particularly satisfied with the result of your life, with what your life is giving, with what you are seeing in your life, then you have to consider what on your inside. Because your outside is as a result of your inside. Now, then, what do? You have to find a way of changing or renewing or entirely bringing something new to the inside. Because when you get something new on the inside, then you begin to affect your outside the way it should be. So if your life has not really been giving you what you're looking for, it has not been exactly the way you want it, then what you have to do is to find a way to change what is on your inside, because your outside is as a result of your inside anytime, any day. And if you want to do that, you have to start changing the things you take in. But what I'm simply saying is you have to change the inside first before you can change the outside. So from what you watch to what you hear to where you go to what you listen to, all of these things are the things that result in the things that form your outside eventually.
Oh, that was a nice response, sir. So, sir, this world, we are in a world that is constantly evolving, and the same way the world is evolving, our personal renewal is very, very much essential. So, Mr. Olamilekan, how do you or should I say, how do we personally renew our mind and stay mentally sharp and meet the demands of life?
You see, as I was wrapping up, I was saying if you want to renew your mind, you have to consider the things that you put inside. So if you want to renew your mind and stay sharp, either in your skill, in your career, and whatever it is, or in the even in the improvement of your own life, there's need for you to consider the things that you put on the inside. And let's start from the movies you watch. Let's start from the people you hang around with. Let's start with uh the church you go, the kind of event you attend, and stuff like that. See, about three major things determine the outcome of a man's life, which all of them come from the outside to the inside, then form the outlook of that man. So your association is number one. The people you hang around with, it informs your life, it determines how you think, it influences your way of life. The second one is information. The information you have access to. What kind of newspaper do you, what magazine do you read? What movie do you watch? What TV series do you see? What books do you read? All of those things are information. And the third one is your environment. Your environment, either you like it or not, either you agree or not, it determines so much of the things you do, the things you become at the end of the day, such that subtly it becomes a part of you and you don't even know it. And that's why it's important to also stay conscious of your environment, what you want to do, right? Because your information, your association, and your environment will determine your life, your outcome, your thought pattern, your thought process much more than what you just want your life to be. So your life is not as a result of what you want it to be. It's as a result of the habit you take in every day, which is as a result of your thought pattern. So what you think determines your habit, and your habit determines your outlook or the result of your life.
Thank you very much. So exposure to new ideas and perspectives. The way you said, it often broadens our thoughts. That's what I jotted down in what you said just now. Let me come again for anybody that did not hear that clearly. Exposure to new ideas and perspectives often broadens our thinking. So, Mr. Olamide Kadeyemi, there is a popular saying that goes thus: you cannot outperform your thoughts. What does this mean to you? And sorry, let me chip this question in also. What does this mean to you? One. Two, for someone that is looking to improve on their thoughts, in their thinking, how can they actively work on cultivating better thought patterns? I don't know if you get that. That's two questions.
Yeah, and I'll start with the last one. So for somebody who's looking to improve, you just have to change the things you're taking presently. If your life is not what you want it to be, then you have to change what you feed on. And as I was saying, you have to check your association if need be, change them. You have to check the information you take in, if need be, change them. You have to check your environment. And your environment goes in some different ways. It goes into your environment at work or your career. Your environment goes into where you live. Your environment goes into the church, the shrine, or the mosque you attend. All of those things talks about your environment. Your environment determines certain possibility. There are certain things that are not possible in certain environments. No matter how hard you try, it's just impossible. And there are certain things that are normal in your environment, but shouldn't be. But that's what is normal in your environment. So to do against it will be a serious war. It will be like kicking against the wall, right? So for someone looking to improve, to change, to get better results for their life, then they have to probably, in fact, they have to change the things they feed on. which goes into your information that you take in, the movie you watch, the series you watch, the books you read. If you don't read at all, it is time for you to start reading. So if you're watching a movie, what kind of movie? Is it a movie that show you how to get better at your life, or the one that just entertain you? All of those goes into helping you discover the best thing you're supposed to be doing with your life and to get the kind of result you're looking for. So if you're looking to improve your life, you have to first consider what's on your inside, and that's where the change should really begin. Now, exposure for what it is, it's very crucial and important to whatever we want to be, whatever we want to become, because outside, you remember, as I was saying earlier, that your environment, certain things are possible there. But what exposure does is it exposes you to what is not exactly a norm in your environment, but actually possible. So I'm saying that to say that what you are seeing in your environment to be norm may not be exactly the same somewhere else. So it is exposure of what is possible somewhere else that enlighten your mind to see if what you are doing presently, if what is happening in your environment is what it should be, or if it can take some improvement. Now, and I will give an instance of somebody who had never seen electricity go up before, and then you come to Nigeria and you see we don't have electricity 24/7. You'll be surprised for the first time, right? And that's the way it is. And now imagine somebody who has always walked the leg his own entire life, walking a lot of distance, and then leaving the village or the bush and come to a town where there are bicycles, there are bikes, there are vehicles that can transport you everywhere, anywhere. And those exposure opens your mind to new possibilities. And that's why traveling is important, reading books is important, going out to places, attending events, attending conferences. All of those things are very crucial to improving your mind and exposing yourself to greater possibilities beyond what you have seen or what you know in your environment.
Thank you very much for that answer, sir. Um, there's a question that just popped in my mind right now, and I'd just like to ask: do you think people really underestimate the power of their thought patterns?
Yes, I think people do because people don't really know the power the thought holds. That's one. Secondly, people don't even know that they think. Because if you check, most of the time when you ask somebody, what are you thinking about? You are probably seeing the person as somebody who seems to be worried. And most of the time when people say, I'm thinking, they are simply talking about worrying. But when you think, most of the time it's highly subconscious. It's not something you are entirely conscious of. It just happens normally. Like you can be reading a movie, you can be watching a movie, and then your mind is on something as a result of what you have seen in that movie. That's how fast thought can take you over. You can be reading a book, somebody can be talking to you, and from one thing that person said, your mind has gone different places just to sort out something quickly. Now, people underestimate their thoughts process or underestimate their thought because they don't really know the power it carries. But the truth remains that everything you become is a result of your thoughts. And that thought becomes what forms your habits, and your habit forms the outcome of your life. So therefore, before anybody can actually start becoming conscious or know the full capacity of their thought, there is need to become conscious of it. Because when you become conscious of it, you begin to see scenarios that prove that to you. When you begin to see and you say, oh, and I thought of that yesterday, and I was thinking of that. And then when you start seeing some result there, you begin to know the power of your thought. And let me quickly chip this in. Your thoughts gives a kind of energy to the universe, which the universe in return respond to whatever it is you give to it. You see, I've said again and again that this life is a matter of cause and effect, decisions and consequences, actions and reactions. When you see this, it affects your life, the outcome of your life. And so when you think of something, it's like you giving out a kind of energy. And the result of that energy is the reaction you get from the universe, from the atmosphere, from your environment. So that, and I will give you a very simple instance, which most of the time we take for granted. If you greet somebody, good morning, sir, good morning, ma, or just greet anybody casually, how you greet them will also, in more than half of what you get, most of the time, will determine the kind of response they give to you. If you greet somebody casually, they respond casually. If you greet anybody enthusiastically, they also respond that way. If you greet them lovingly, they respond lovingly. And that's just it. It's the simplest way of explaining what we get in return for the energy we dish out there.
Thank you very much, sir. So to our audience, let's not forget that everything we become is as a result of our thoughts. Mr. Lamilekon, this has been a rich and enlightening discussion, sir. Like, I must really say your insights are really incredible and valuable, and I'm sure our listeners have gained so much from your perspectives also. So before we wrap it up, sir, is there any final thought or advice you would like to leave us with, sir?
Well, for for those listening, I'll just say your thought is powerful, is determines everything that you become. Your life is as a result of your thoughts, which determined your habit all this while. And to continue in that path will mean your life will remain the same. And so, therefore, if you want to improve, then you have to change the things you take in, from check the movies you watch, go to conferences, expose yourself to seminars, travels, and do different other things. But I really need you to know that your life is as a result of your thoughts. You cannot be better than your thoughts. So think better, get better.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lamilekon. Thank you for taking the time to join us today and sharing with us your wisdom. And to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. And let's not forget, the same way Mr. Lamilekon said, your thoughts have power. Make sure you use them to create a life that you'll be proud of. Thank you very much. Until next time, stay inspired.